Welcome to Onivia Highlights. These are the best highlights from the LCK Spring 2025.
I think you really have to examine it from the lens of if that invade had been successful and he had the prio at his lanes.
Oh god,
out the game. Oh man.
Oren has just been obliterated by Xiu here. Gets the scrap shield, flash forward and lands the harpoon. There's a solo kill, and that is first blood. Man, I'm so used to it being Gwen doing that, but it's Xiu this time.
Rumble matchup is a bit of a risky one, you know. You want to be up close to your target as Gwen, and you can just get cooked by the Rumble. Xiu planning a big advantage there. Oh, nice dodge from the stun there from Lucid.
Yeah. Going to be landing a few of these daggers as well as Lucid, thinking that his prize is going to be this blue buff, and that is due to the fact that Showmaker has all of that priority in this mid lane, but bot side priority is also there for T1. So a little bit of an honest engage here as Carrier dives forward. They get on top of Lucid. He's lit on fire. Faker free hitting now with these Sand Soldiers, but it's Carrier that's the one in trouble. And with that Spirit Rush, Showmaker is able to take him down. Beryl now looking for Faker as Lucid in amongst it. Gumayushi the target, but Ona goes down first. And that's another kill, this time going over to aiming. It's a disaster for T1.
Ari coming through. We're going to get a replay of that topside play first. She was close to overheating. Doran goes in to try and clear the wave, but just gets beaten down. See Xiu calling it already. Follows with the flash, gets a harpoon. Just beautifully played. Pings the flash as well.
And that must sound pretty good to use relatively quickly, but they need to get another one of these if they do want to lock that one down. And Doran fighting against Xiu. Grand Starfall does come down. Let's see whether the Rumble will survive, and the answer is absolutely he will not. As Lucid just wanting to get that final grub, and he does manage to secure it. So T1 not able to deny the feat. They will be able to deny triple grubs from DK. So T1 on the board now with that kill under Xiu, certainly good news.
Trades it again. Faker's going to recall, but he doesn't have TP, and with him off the map, and Showmaker having not committed ult in that play, Dplus very confident to pick up this dragon. Yep. Second objective of the game.
Deadly Flourish, a bit of an attempt there from Gumayushi. Oh, he did, okay.
They lost the fight as a result.
Oh, so he hasn't had blue buff for very long.
Yeah, oh, Guma.
Okay, Solar Flare is going to miss the stun, but he's still dead. Lucid comes on over, grabs the kill, Beryl able to tank up the turret just well enough. And Ona will be able to get still about 1 minute and 10 seconds left on those plates, so able to get that extra money, certainly going to be good. Lucid just flipped over the wall, so doesn't have that ability at this point in time. Avoids the Deadly Flourish, though, as he flashes over the wall. Ona goes in, but Beryl is right there already. The curtains are going to get called, as now Lucid still trying to escape. I don't know whether Beryl is going to be quite as lucky, though, as he realizes he has to stick around, and that will spell his death. So a little bit of an overextension, and this is something that they were talking about on the space. The fact that DK... Way in, as I say that. Lucid just blast cones his way into the pit, and Ona is going to be able to stun him. The front flip gets him over, but that means the dragon definitely goes into the hands of T1. Equalizer goes down, not really doing...
stronger and stronger. The Triumph spike coming in soon is big, but 3 is really where he's going to take off. And now looking to herald the mid tower. This won't kill it, but they should be able to finish it off with some mortars. Yeah.
Beautifully done. Faker is going to try and return the favor, heading down towards this bottom side. No feats of strength, of course, but first turret blood going over to DK going to be an important one there.
I had to TP out.
Yeah, Faker will set up a turret of his own, and will look to take down this mid wave once more. And Solar Flare going to connect onto Ona. Zenith Blade to try and chain this CC, but the Magnet Storm is good from Carrier. Untargetable is Lucid, but he has to use everything to try and get out, and it does not work. Oh dear, sometimes Zenith played in and it is just not the right call, as now the Otacon going to get taken and T1 really getting out to a fantastic lead off the back of just suffocating T1 as best they could. That was working. Let's go back to that, perhaps.
They're finding angles to get some tower damage here. Oh, she was struggling now.
Yep, Doran in a much better spot as he flashes in and returns the favor. The turret will do a fair bit of damage there, as in fact, yeah, Doran does indeed die. But now we've got another fight breaking out. Beryl, once again, just going to be dead. Solar Flare looking a little celebratory as it hits absolutely nothing. And T1, they get the better end of it, even though it was a 1-for-1 as far as the top laners were concerned. Losing Beryl going to be a big deal, because that should spell this dragon going on over to T1 without DK being able to do anything about it.
Starting to feel pretty rough. Yeah, I didn't see that he...
All right, Beryl's in again. Lucid is there watching again, and Beryl's dead again.
This is just a never change game, I feel like, for Doran and Beryl.
Yeah, where that minion was actually going to take a turret shot or two. But unfortunately does not happen. Grand Starfall goes down as she is just going to get swept back, and will do a fair bit of damage here to Ona on the outset, as now Gumayusi also in a little bit of trouble. Good cleanse from aiming, but it's not going to be enough. Carrier just being a defender, as Lucid realizing that perhaps he's also overextended, and Beryl's out of the gate once again. Okay, it's time to die once more.
Oh,
as
look at
these
the
health bars, these health bars are so incredibly low. If Beryl can actually get in there, Solar Flare is back up again, and he throws it down. Not going to find anything, but he's holding them in position. The Eclipse wears off. Beryl is certainly killable, but so are T1 as Doran's teleported in, and oh my goodness, this Gwen is so scary. 15 seconds until Shiu's back up again. And it's a 4v5. In goes Carrier, but doesn't really find the angle, and now Showmaker with all that mobility, looking to see what he can get done. Untargetability good there from Lucid, but Gumayusi, he lands the bullets. Faker goes golden, and DK melts like butter in the microwave. T1 just destroy them.
Beautiful team fight from T1, baiting out Dplus. You know, Carrier
was just so incredibly impressive. You get around Doran, who has that full health bar, and DK, they could smell blood in the water, but it just wasn't. They was doing well. We had Lucid chasing Ona out of his jungle, winning out in that early game situation, and it has meant absolutely nothing. As we can see here, the siege is continuing. The Baron getting to work here. As Equalizer goes down, flash in from Beryl, gets the cleanse out from Gumayusi as Carrier going down lower and lower. The Magnastorm not going to save him there. There's some untargetability from Lucid, will not save him here either, as it's a 1-for-1 in the end. And now Doran is rotating over. The needlework is so scary as once again he's under the turret. Once again he's dead under the turret, as aiming not going to be able to stick around though. So with the health bar advantages, Ona? Okay,
a little deep.
Okay, that's a choice. You can't go through that base gate, but that's okay. He's able to wait things out, and the rest of T1 will join. So
that's just aura, you know?
That was a lot of aura, and I think Showmaker could feel it, as the inhibitor going to be the next to fall here, as T1, they're pretty good at this, closing out these games. Yeah, exactly. That's ticking down. They see the orb fly across their heads. Let's see what Shiu can actually get done here. Bullet comes on through. Everyone's slowed down apart from Faker, but I don't think Shiu is going to be able to find too much more there. Voidseeker going to connect, but there is no killer instinct. So no more teleports, no more silly stuff.
Could that be enough to get them Dragon, though? You know, very late recalls coming out from T1. Maybe a window to sneak in, but it looks like Lucid taking the red here, a little bit concerned. Oh, they find Carrier.
Yeah, Carrier just crashes down over the wall.
He is rather tanky.
He is indeed.
I think they've missed the window. I'm not sure if
3 items like you were talking about, a thing to watch out for on aiming, but I feel like it's too little and it's probably too late.
Yeah, the problem is, you know, there's 3 items across the board for T1.
I'm going to connect there onto Doran, and then Showmaker has to try and find a way out as, the deadly flourish! That was beautiful! From Gumayusi, has to now walk off the red carpet as Beryl looking for Doran. The Magnastorm's gorgeous! Carrier sacrifices himself for it though, and now they're looking for even more. Over the wall they go. Doran is so low, Guma's so low, but it doesn't matter because they get a clean ace, only losing Carrier for it. And T1 will now look to finish the game.
Dplus going for an attempt there. You know, they managed to find a kill onto the support, but nothing more. They don't have to follow through with Showmaker dead, and with this much of a deficit, it was a tall order anyway. T1 managing to hold strong after, you know, some troubles, a little bit of troubles in the early game. A very convincing finish out for this game.
Absolutely beautifully done by T1, and it was just the fact that they held it together, right? It looked like MF straight up into it is still not going to be that high.
Yeah. I mean, also, what often happens in pro play is that the Braum is a little bit under-leveled compared to like
the late Ignite.
Yeah, Beryl actually out of mana, which is kind of hard to do on a Braum, if I'm being real. Definitely a lot of Winter's Bite spam. Now the Hex Flash coming in.
Yeah, over the wall goes Carrier, and he's out of turret range, finds a double pulverize, Maker Rain comes down as Gumayusi comes on over. The door is set up at first blood, still goes over to the Misfortune. And Beryl, like you say, didn't have a whole lot of the blue stuff, but is now going to have to deal with another wave as Carrier finds yet another pulverize. He will die, and Beryl is fine. And Gumayusi decided that he did not want to kill him.
All in Beryl.
Far more important than Beryl having a 140 ahead of Carrier. As DK thinking about going for a contest, but I don't know about it. As Seismic Shove going wide. Carrier comes in, gets a pulverize onto Lucid, who does get the decoy off. And now Doran just says, nope, you do not have a jungler. They also take down the Dragon on the back end as aiming. He is just going to get evicted from this area. No flash, no chance. And Gumayusi even able to walk on over, give him a love tap, take him down. Shu on this top side of the map is at least trying to get something, at least get a crab, consolation crab there for the Wukong. She looking to go a little bit aggressive. Even has time to go back and get the cannon. You like to see that. And Carrier, I feel like he's everywhere this game. As the Cyclone comes in, can Carrier actually get in there to headbutt Lucid under the turret? And he does, in fact, do so. He flashes away. Realm Warp going to come on through. That gets rid of Beryl. So Beryl lives, and Lucid is very dead. How greedy Doran is going to be, as let's see the replay instead.
Yeah, so
Carrier's perspective.
I think it was an ambitious play, even if Carrier wasn't there. But Carrier being there just meant there was no chance of it working. You know, Showmaker's not able to get into range.
They'll be able to get in as Shiu's going to move down. Faker's in position though. Shiu desperately trying to get towards his turret. He takes a fair bit of damage, but he is pretty tanky. And he gets over to the other side of the wall. Lucid going in. And Shiu clears out the wave. Yeah, now that he's here, Shiu's like, how do I get down? You know, it's like doing that mountain climbing where you climb up and you're like, wait a second, how am I supposed to figure out my way back? Showmaker teleports in, and maybe that is the way he did it. Just asks his teammate to bring a ladder.
It's the goal deficit, showing that, you know, even plays that make sense start to fail when you're lacking that extra bit of damage.
Well, speaking of an extra bit of damage, I think Faker certainly has it. As the threaded volley is coming down, we're going to stop watching that one as Lucid comes in, and the hook shot is so good from Doran. Bullet time comes down as well. Beryl almost just dead from that one, but they do manage to get the Camille, but at what cost? The answer is everything.
Easy cleanup on the side of T1. You know, Dplus go for that initial play onto Doran when he steps forward. And also, you know, you have a Braum on your team. You're kind of relying on like the Wukong to be engaging, and Lucid is falling further and further behind. Like, look at the health bar of the Wukong compared to Sejuani.
Yeah.
You dive in as this Wukong, you're probably just dead immediately.
Well, Lucid is going to dive in and just flashes away and dies. Wow. Like, why? Still, Showmaker and Shiu, they're going to come on over. All Out is going to be used to separate Ona from this fight, but he just gets back towards this collapse onto Showmaker. And Gumayusi, he comes down yet again. They've set the table for it. And they're now looking to grab these kills. Glacial Prison comes on through once more, but Shiu, pretty tanky, so isn't going to be dying just yet. In the meantime, Faker on that top side of the map is looking to take down this turret. Should be able to get this.
This is kind of what I was worried about after game one. Game one, Dplus had a lead, had an advantage, managed to push it a little bit, and then they started to flounder, and T1 pulled back. This is a game, though, where T1 are the ones who led the charge, who have the advantage, and it just doesn't even look remotely close.
Nope. I feel like the Flounder will have a few extra blast cones. Sorry, Valdez. As, yes, T1 just trying to get even more control, just to make sure that Faker can very safely take this turret on this top side. As I've seen fights in this area happen before, as Beryl throws out an ulti for fun.
Yes, so engage
side. What was it, 0-4?
Yep.
That seems crazy. As headbutt pulve onto Beryl. Ona swings a flail at him as okay. Aiming going to start this one up. He's already down very low. There's the flash forward. Can they actually kill Guma? Is the question. The answer so far is no. They take down Beryl finally. They overextend far enough to kill the Misfortune, but now the rest of them are likely to go down. Doran just executes aiming underneath the turret. And Shiu trying to escape. That blast cone direction was looking a little dicey, but he gives them the good old thumbs up as he exits. But they didn't need to kill Shiu to feel really good about how this fight goes, as Lucid is just running for the hills. And he will get out, but at what cost?
I'm not sure
why. It feels like T1, they don't give the opportunities, right? Because they're not overextending into vision that they don't have, as the bullet time is so good. Beryl's door does pretty much nothing, and aiming is just shredded. Down goes the Wukong as well, as there is an all out, so they kill Gumayusi one more time. As Showmaker also might be able to get a kill onto Carrier. There is that one. Shiu gets himself out of there, but I don't know whether Showmaker wins this 1v1 against Ona, and he does not. Down goes the Cassante as well, as T1 complete the ace with only the sacrifice of their bottom lane, and you can see Shiu just head in hands. Showmaker not really sure of what to do, and this is looking like a bit of a glum DK at this point in time.
Yep, all they're really achieving is just hampering away at Guma's KDA. But in terms of the game state, it's just getting worse and worse every time.
There are a couple towards the top side, but it looks like DK may not have full information. Showmaker coming on over. There's a teleport in from Doran. DK going to have to be swift about this one if they want to lock this down, as they do manage to secure it, get some bounty gold as the Cyclone comes in. Lucid looking for Faker there, but Faker moves out of the way of the Cyclone. Very nicely done. Hextech Ultimatum onto aiming in the back line. What's this Varus ever supposed to do this game? And it is get shoved and then bullet timed to death as Lucid, that was a bit tricky, gets himself over the wall as Shiu trying to get into that backline, goes all out and pulls Doran over, but he's so incredibly low. Gumayushi is looking for that kill, and he should be able to get it. Still, actually, Shiu doing some work, but Gumayushi's a raid boss. He is massive. That's another ace for T1. And I don't know. Been up for 22 seconds. As, all right, Realm War play. They want to kill Gumayushi one more time as the seismic shove is so perfectly placed. Showmaker goes gold and Shiu into that backline. They might be able to kill Gumayushi, but I guarantee they are all dead after that as Ona takes down the Rise. Doran getting on in there. Man, he's doing so much damage. Shiu dashing around, doing cool stuff, but you know what? He's dead. And there is not a whole lot to be said other than that. T1, even though they don't have their 80 carry, they will be able to pick up a Baron, and that is going... I don't think he's dying again.
Something that was talked about a lot on Space in the pre-show was the fact that, you know, one of the things with the Sejuani is you're less of the carry yourself, and T1 has been so owner-reliant, so it's a good omen seeing them win with them on the Sejuani.
Shiu is taking a lot of damage as Doran trying to chase him down. Aiming is going to push him away, but it's not going to stop this inhibitor from going down. DK, it is feeling circular in motion. They are just slowly but surely going down the drain. As Shiu does get his health bar back, Weave as well just to block off Lucid from this fight. Seismic Shove does not connect, but the Hextech Ultimatum goes in. There's another gorgeous bullet time as Gumayushi cuts them down. Kill credit going over to Doran. Sitting on 10 now this game. What a monster. Seismic Shove's gorgeous there from the GOAT. And I think T1 may have just done it far more swiftly than the last time, as Carrier does what he likes to do at the end of games, which is die to the fountain laser, and that's going to mean that it isn't the classic for this particular game, which is 1 for 5 trades. The Nexus still going to go down though, and T1 looking clean with it here today.
Yeah, and